it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bump into your broadcast, grab a chair, fill your glass. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bump into your broadcast, grab a chair, fill your glass.
Hey, welcome to the Really Charlie Podcast. I'm Charlie Perry, host of this show. Been going on for a while, almost 4 years now, well over 300 episodes, and I am really enjoying podcasting. I can do it every day because of the people that come on this podcast, like Sean Knox that's here today, and Stevie D, he's here today. They have amazing stories, and this is what we do on the Really Charlie Podcast. I also want to give a shout out to WNB1 Radio, which is our internet-based radio. It's located at 262 Union Street, downtown New Bedford, Massachusetts. And we have many shows there. So feel free to go to WNB1.com and check out the other shows, the music. If you like hip-hop music, R&B music, that's where you need to go. Add it to your devices, being Apple or Android. And don't forget the Really Charlie Podcast YouTube channel. And we're going to get on the show. We're going to get the show on the road. Sean, what's going on, man?
How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Really appreciate you having me.
Yeah, Stevie is...
it is an honor.
Stevie's your hype man. He definitely hyped you up. I was excited to see you just, based on what he's told me about you and him, and very happy to meet you. And feel free anytime you want to come on this podcast, come on board. Just send me a little message and say, hey, I want to go on today. Whether it's here on the podcast or whether it's here on a Really Charlie Podcast or on Fentanyl Facts and Stories. You don't need any invitation. You just come on board. All right.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Stevie, what's going on, man?
My dog is imposing his will if you need.
Yeah, that's all right.
But I'm doing good, sir. Thanks for having me back.
Your dog is your biggest groupie, right?
The neighborhood this deck and nobody. All 12 pounds.
Man, nice. So I like bringing these stories to these shows to life because it's me. It's hey, by the way, Michael, I see you. How you doing, man? He's listening to us on YouTube. Hello, everyone on YouTube. I appreciate you. I like bringing these stories because you know what? Even though your story seems unique, it isn't. There's somebody else going through something with you, or just like you, right? And so I like to bring stories out there and where we can be an inspiration, whether it's we're going through something or whether we're succeeding in something, whatever we're doing. I like these shows to be inspirational. And usually because I'm having Sean on this show, it's always going to lead to someone else that he knows to come on the show. Because I have Stevie D on the show, it's always going to lead to someone else that he knows on the show, and which is happening right now. You guys are good friends. And so without further ado, we're going to talk about, Stevie, tell me something about Sean, man.
Gonna get me right. Sean is like a son to me. So me and Sean lived in the Ober House last year, and I was doing well one day at a time. Sean's addiction got the better, went back out. Spent a few months on fentanyl and methamphetamine, and I cried number one because that broke my heart.
Mm.
And I'm not trying to make my brother feel guilty. What I also for the past 7 months, Sean has asked recovery one day at a time, one day at a time. He has found a life instead of change himself, feel different, go through a rough time, 5 or 6 weeks, himself physically, spiritually, challenging himself. So my heart is full of joy for him today, pride for him today, humbleness that he's here sharing his story, and I would die for
Amen.
like a son. I love him like a brother. I love him in so many different laugh. We have a great time. Him and his girlfriend were at my house this week, going to the pool and having a cook. Life today, clean and sober. Life today, happy, like we're taught in our program. I'm proud of finish all 12 step program that we do with sponsor, and my sponsor, and a couple months from now, we'll start raising on another program, pass it on to them, help them one day.
Awesome. The Sean, I kind of want to do the same thing, but I need you to say a few words about Stevie and what
Absolutely.
he's been to you.
Yeah, so man, I love you, Steve. You're gonna make me cry over here. Um, yeah, we stayed in this very same sober living Anchor of Hope. They got about 27 different houses all around Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it saved my life, and you know, he's saved my life too. You know, he's been there for me since day one. Um, you know, when we were roommates, we hit it off since day one. Like I said, I mean, um, I look up to him. You know, he's family to me, and he's also an amazing sponsor. Um, and he's walked me through every step of my journey now. And
Mm.
you know, it was really tough going back out. When I went back out, he was actually getting ready to move out to Lenore, where he's staying,
Yep.
and he already knew I was struggling. And you know, it wasn't long before I had getting kicked out, and ended up going to a hotel, and for the next 6 to 7 months, started really getting bad with fentanyl and methamphetamines. Um, but you know, Steve was there for me. You know, every time he called me, you know, I was always dead honest with him. You
Yeah.
know, like I've said, I have no shame in my game, and I already knew the deal. You know, I already knew what I needed to do to get back on track, but it was very difficult for me to get back clean and sober. And by the grace of God, you know, I was able to do that. Um, and if it wasn't for him being there, calling me every day, checking up on me, um, you know, I don't know where I'd be. You know, I need people like that in my life, and Steve is one of those people. You know.
That's good. It the stories like this is it's hard just to be in a home like that, right? It's hard to be in there in the first place, just to get there. I think that's one of the hardest things is to finally make that decision. And and when it
Absolutely.
does happen, um talk about that first night in the sober house. Either one of you. Was it was it get the
You
hell out of you?
want me to go?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
So,
go ahead.
Charlie, when we spoke on Fentanyl Facts and Stories, your other podcast, I told you and Paula and anybody that was listening that I am the type of guy that never would move into a home with 6 other dudes.
Mhm.
I had no time for other dudes. I had no time for anybody when I was struggling in my early addiction. As I got there the first day, kept to myself. I had a chip on my shoulder. Didn't want to let anybody in. Had no time for the other dudes in the house. And basically, it was something that I had come out of jail on a DUI. Basically, had no place to go, so I went there. A friend of mine in recovery runs the houses, and so when I got there, honestly, it wasn't optimal for me, but God had a bigger plan for me. It was as soon as the first initial shock of moving in with 6 other men, because you have 6 other egos, 6 other prides, 6 other upbringing, 6 other, could be 6 other races, could be people come from all different walks, but addiction is for everybody. Unfortunately, it's not just poor, it's not rich, it's everybody. And at the end of the day, breaking the ice, probably even just the second day, because I knew a guy who lived there, not well, but I knew recovery. So by the second day, I just had like I want to say like a spiritual awakening where I just said, Steve, you don't do this by yourself. You can't do this by yourself. You're failing at it. You're drinking still. You can't stay sober. You keep trying to do it by yourself. Um, for me, doing it by myself is an avenue to relapse. Uh, so I had to put a spiritual way through prayer and meditation. Kind of like I woke up the next day and I'm like, well, I'm here. I may as well give it a shot. And as the time progressed, really amazing that so many different walks of life can end up loving each other, can end up talking to each other every day, can support each other no matter what they're going through. Because nobody in sober living, in my experience, wants to see another person fail.
Mhm.
So the beauty is, no matter where you're from, you got 7 dudes in a house that don't know each other, except we're all recovering addicts and alcoholics. We have house meetings. We have chores we do together. We cook and eat together. And, by the time it was time for me to go, I honestly, it was just such a huge impact on my life and my recovery journey where I was sad when I left. I was crying when I left. I still talk to all the dudes in my house mostly that were there when I was there. Um, I still try to support them every day. I take phone calls whenever they call me. And that is not something that I would have did that first night in that house. That's not
Mhm.
even close to the guy I used to be. Not even, I'm not going to say I wasn't a nice guy, but I certainly didn't have time for other dudes and didn't want to help other dudes. I only wanted to help myself because my disease is selfish. I'm selfish. I'm prideful. I have ego. Uh, so I just opened up. I just had something come over me, like I said, spiritual awakening, where I just said, you know what, I'm here. I may fucking try. And like Sean had mentioned, Anchor of Hope saved my life. That's the name of the
Mhm.
organization. And I still speak to the guy that runs it. Just get off the phone with him to let him know that me and Sean were going to be on. I text my sponsor to tell him we were going to be on, and a couple other guys in the house. So I don't know if they're listening or watching, but they will at some point. And it's
Mhm.
just see that sort of stuff. It's a terrible disease, killing people. The statistics are insane. I'm going to keep it real. The amount that Sean was doing, he should not be here right now.
Wow.
Uh, and, and I always say, if anybody has a problem believing in any sort of higher power, Sean's story will change that for you because he was doing it every day, 6, 7 months, all
Mhm.
day. So the sober living aspect, the first night I got there till when I left, was just such a different thing. I had learned acceptance. I had learned humbleness. I learned how to share with other men. I learned how to spill my guts to other people. I learned how to listen to them instead of just hearing them. Uh, and it's kind of like it's not. So I walked in thinking it was forced, right? Like, oh man, I got to talk to these other 6 dudes, or I'm gonna get kicked out. I got to go to these meetings once a week and share my stuff. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to talk to nobody. But when I started a recovery journey, for being my age, 20 months I'm clean and sober, a little bit longer than that.
Congratulations. Nice.
But it's just for today, like I told you last time. So I laugh, I cry. I didn't used to do that stuff before I got to sober living. I kept everything in, but I just felt that if the opportunity was in front of me and God put me there for that reason, that I'll take full advantage. I did, and it a slogan that says it works, work it, and I promise that slogan, corny as it works if you work it. So I worked it. Sean works it. Sean works it every day. I work it every day. I struggle every day. I'm sure Sean struggles every day. A lot of us struggle every day. I would say all of us do, but I can't speak for everybody. I can only speak for me. So I can only maybe a little bit speak for Sean if that stuff was like everybody else in recovery. So I know from that sober living program saved my life. I know it saved Sean's life. As a matter of fact, that young man going to be offered to run his own sober house by the program directors. That's how well they went at 7 months. That's how well they finished in 12 steps in 7 months. Guys, sometimes longer. But it's not a race. But John has completely turned around from months ago, and he at his rock climbing gym, which is his substitute or his now passion in life to help him stay clean and sober. So I couldn't be, I without his support, even when he was getting high. I talked to him to make sure he was still. He would call me every day. He was okay, and even if he was getting high, still loved him, still supported him, like he said, and he would try to support me while he was still getting high. So that's the love you learn, the respect that you learn, being in a program with other men. In our program, men, women with women, but that's up to the individual. Me and Sean, a lot of the same guys in the recovery network that we call once a day, once a week. We all know each other. It's become like Charlie's way to say it.
Good.
Yeah.
Great. Sean, you know, I can't say that everything is something's. Well, the only similar thing that you guys went through is that you needed to get sober, right? And
Yes, sir.
That's
so,
correct.
you get there, and you know, there's a lot of things. Stevie talks about he didn't want to be around the men. What was your thing? What was your barrier? What was your thing that you wanted to stay away from in that sober house, or that you feared of?
So, before I came in, um, I had been to 4 different sober livings. This will be my fourth time. Um, and the 2 other times was in Anchor. And when I first came into sober living, or the idea was brought up, you know, my dad had brought it up, and said you should try it out. And yeah, I was definitely scared, you know, because my whole life I was living at my parents' house, and I just didn't want to do anything different. And so every time I'd come out of rehab, I'd go right back to my old environment, and you know, always like chasing comfort, being in just the thought of being in a sober living, I felt kind of like I was scared, because I felt like alone, you know. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how it was going to work. Um, but this last time coming in, right before I met Steve, I was actually homeless for about 2 weeks. I was living in my parents' crawl space, and they had went out of town on a cruise vacation. Me and my brother had just got kicked out. We got evicted, and because they were just tired of the chaos that we were causing due to our addictions. And I finally I went into debt. I ran out of money. I pretty much had no other options. It was
Mm.
just pure desperation. Um, and I knew the next day I was going to be really sick, going through withdrawals. And I picked up the phone to actually the director of Anchor of Hope, and I asked him, where can I go to detox? So I went to this place called Anuvia in Charlotte, went there for about 3 days, and then finally got back into Anchor. Um, and then I met Steve, which was, I mean, we hit it off from the get-go, you
Cool,
know.
cool.
And I was already familiar, with sober living. Like I said, I had been in Anchor previously 2 other times. So I already knew the deal was, for me, Anchor of Hope has given me structure. Like we have a curfew, we have a chore board. It's basically um, helps me become a man, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Because most of my life I just been like a scared little boy, you know. I'm 27 years old now, and I'm just now learning how to be responsible, how to be an adult, you know. I didn't know nothing about paying no bills. I still struggle with stuff like that, you know. That's why I'm happy that I could just cash out my rent, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but I got a lot going on for me now, you know. So going back to just coming in around that time when I met Steve, we hit it off. I was in a different room than him at first for like the first few months, and then we finally became roommates.
Mm.
And man, it was great, you know.
Cool. Nice.
Anchor of Hope, it's like a little family here. You get, and it sucks when somebody goes out, because you get real close to them and then you see them falling off the wagon. And you could always tell when someone is starting to be on their way out,
Yeah.
Um, my whole life right now, today, is based off of the spiritual principles of AA. And I have to work that every single day to be, clean and sober,
Nice.
Practice all the spiritual principles in all my affairs, because life does show up, and yeah, it does get hard. I do struggle some days, you know, but I don't pick up, I don't use, no matter what, you know, and my biggest goal really, is to be so spiritually fit that nothing could move me. But
Nice.
it's progress, not perfection. So, it takes work. Takes work.
Sean, you mentioned about chasing comfort.
Yeah.
What comfort are you chasing now that that is replaced the comfort of the past?
So, as far as chasing comfort, um, like I said, being in a sober living was scary. The thing that I like to do is be numb and go back to my old ways, drinking and drugging, um, being in isolation, being back
Mm-hmm.
at my parents' house, because that's what I always resorted back to. I went back to my parents' house. I stayed sober for like maybe a month and then went right back to it. And it was just that constant cycle of, you know, as far as comfort today, though, in order for me to grow spiritually, on this journey, is to get uncomfortable, you
Mm.
know. Um, like today, I try to take any opportunity I can to be of service to anybody. I've lately been sharing a couple of AA meetings recently. This AA meeting down the road from me. That's something I've never done before. And they come up to me, they'll ask because they don't have anyone to lead the meeting. And I say yes. Even
Wow.
though I'm nervous, I'll start looking up topics on my
Yep.
phone right before the
Hmm.
meeting starts, and then I gotta surrender and let go and just let it flow, you know.
I
Um,
want to thank you. I want to applaud you on that because I know quite a few people are doing that same thing. They're going from meeting to meeting to meeting, and it could be 8 meetings within 12 hours or a little more. And but they feel that that's what they have to do, and whether it's going from one end of the city to the next, it's just one after another, and
yeah,
and it is their comfort. It's their comfort um, um, to just get their mind and everything off of everything else. I have a friend of mine, lifetime friend, that I'm very proud of, and he goes to meeting. He's very
hmm
proud of being sober. Um, and he tells a story about being incarcerated and everything,
yeah,
but every day he's trying to save someone's life. Um,
yeah.
so I want to applaud both of you, Stevie,
So if
Sean. You doing
Thank you,
amazing
Charlie.
things.
Thank you.
I can
Yeah,
interrupt, Charlie, if you don't
Yep.
mind. So I love the way John says that, right? Because I'm comfortable not being me, right?
Mm.
I'm comfortable being somebody. I'm in myself, so I have to be me. What you said, spot on. I'm a boy. I'm a big. I got tattooed. Ride a Harley. Still a scared little boy, right? So when someone like Sean says something like that, he's sober today because that's how it works. But for him to say, I gotta be comfortable to be comfortable. Comfortable didn't get sober.
Mm.
Sober because I had to, not where I live, not I mean that's part of it. No place to talk about a lot, right? But I had to completely surrender to my higher power to not reinvent myself because I was always there, but I was very comfortable being somebody that I thought people wanted me to be. They wanted me to drinking broth and funny guy and all that stuff. But at the end, for me to get
yeah,
sober and for Sean at 7 months clean and sober to be asked to chair a meeting, what that tells my recovery is that he is doing so well that other guys and girls at that meeting see that the growth in from 7 months ago to today and are humbled to ask him. They might have much pride in him to chair the meeting, but they got to hear that day done. And it works that way with any meeting. 40 years, girls could have 30 years, but we all talk. I'm uncomfortable, Sharon. You probably can't tell Carly because I could talk a dog on the phone today, but I
Yep.
used to have tough times sharing my feelings and sharing all that. And at the end of the day, that to me what John said. Just another way that I stay. I got to be uncomfortable to be comfortable in my skin, and I have to change my old habits. I have old ways. I have to acceptance and humbleness and gratefulness for breath, for life, for sunshine, for rain, all the little
yeah.
things I missed when I was getting high and drunk. So just yeah. So I'm 57. He's 27. Still play video games. So go figure. So we both have Xbox
I'm
rooms,
I'm right I'm right there with you. I'm
play
right there
Call of
with you.
Duty all the
Yeah.
time. Every time someone new moves in the house, Charlie, Sean, and I will show the new guy a picture of me on snuggling on our bed.
Mhm.
And this is how we roll at the sober house. Some guys don't know
That's right.
what they're doing, but
That's
it's
right.
try and have fun, try to make the new guy comfortable, and make the
Yeah.
The,
I
the new people in recovery, you want them to share too because they're brand new. They're scared. I'm still scared. Sean's still scared. I know guys that got 30 years still scared. And, it's a continual process of everyday progress, not perfection, but it's also, if I don't try, I can't do it. If I
mm,
don't hit my knees, if I don't ask, if I don't say at the end of my day for my journey, I pray every night, God, was I the best me I could be today? Did I hurt anybody's feelings? Do I make an amends tomorrow to somebody? And that is what we call in our program a personal inventory that we do every day, which is our step 10.
Yeah.
And I do that, but I fail at it. Some days I'm like, yeah, no, I was awesome today. I didn't piss anybody off. And I don't care. I get like that too. But most
Mhm.
days I try my best to stay solid, to keep that foundation. Because if I will tell you, if I don't call 5 other guys a day, 3 other guys a day, or a week, or whatever, I feel mentally off. I feel spiritually off, and I feel recovery off. And I know Sean, we talk every day, whether it's text. I mean, me and Sean, text and phone call every day, and we have a bunch of guys that do the same thing. So we all stay in touch. I
it's so that's so important. That's
You got
so important.
to get comfortable.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's
Comfort,
a Go ahead,
comfort
Sean.
is like comfort is the pursuit of aging.
Mm,
You know, I
mm,
mean,
yeah, yeah,
I know for me it was killing me.
Easy now,
mm,
You
buddy.
know, it was killing me.
yeah.
um,
Yeah. Once,
um,
once, Sean, once I start seeing you wear reading glasses, then I'm gonna know you're getting there.
He'll go with contacts. He's too vain. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's uh I have a connection with a few people that I reach out to every day, and there's one friend of mine, and we try to beat out each other by saying I love you, and then he says I love you more, and every day we talk and we contact each other because we're sharing so many stories of people that we lost um, just within a couple of days, and it seems like every week it's someone that we're losing, and but at
mhm,
least I know that the last words I said to him was I love you, and it means a lot to me. It's
Amen.
very important that I do that. So
absolutely.
I want you guys to keep up your communication. And let me ask you something about you're beneficial for each other as men. Um, is it easier or harder to be beneficial to a woman? How could you? Does it? Is it there? There's a divide. How does that happen? If someone approaches you as a female, what do you do? I mean, are you going to meetings that it's co-ed, it's all men or all women, or it's pretty much
Want
both?
me to go?
I would
Go ahead.
say,
Go ahead.
um, you know, I would just, you know, give advice to whether, well, no matter what gender they are. Uh, you know, it really doesn't matter gender wise, in my opinion. Um, AA does say, men should sponsor men, women should sponsor women,
Hmm.
because there are differences between men and women. Um, but as far as addiction though, it has no discrimination,
Sure.
um, at all. Um, so my girlfriend is actually in recovery as well. She's got 3 years,
All right.
which is an absolute blessing
Awesome.
to have her as a partner, and walk with her by my side one day at a time as well. Um,
I like that.
So
What about you, Stevie?
I'll say that, yeah, there's co absolutely. And my experience, I myself is, if a lady comes up to me and says, "Hey, I'd like to help me out with this," absolutely. But like Sean said, our program, we usually have men sponsor, women sponsor women, and it's suggested by our sponsors, by their sponsors. So yes, we all come together as a group. Women, men, doesn't make a difference. Can we all go hang out at events together? Absolutely. But in my experience, I sponsor men. If a woman asked me to sponsor, I would say no, not in return. But I wouldn't just no. I would find a lady that I know and say, hey,
Right.
this girl's struggling, she's in recovery, she's looking for temporary sponsor, help her out, not
Mhm.
That's good of you. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never want a newcomer coming in not finding what they need, because guess what, they won't come back. And
Mm.
that's not
Mhm.
Yeah.
to Charlie, but
Yeah.
more often than not, if it's kind. Unfortunately, meetings, I will say, like for a vehicle, right? You
Yep.
got to look around. Stop, people don't remember. I might go to a now. It's a funny one. The meeting that he's talking about, the house that we live in, that
Yeah.
that I went a couple of times. I'm like, man, this is like a funeral in here.
Mm.
And, sorry, but that's the way I felt. Guess what? My sponsee, my brother, right there, things at that place, because that meeting includes his recovery. So it's not that thing. It was just my opinion of that meeting. He gets a lot of that meeting. I did not, but I went there twice. So could I go there next week? I go visit, go to that, and go, wow, what a butthead I was. This is a great meeting. Of course. So any
Hmm.
meeting, go to anybody that's recovered post meeting. A lot of people go to the ones. I go to the one every day. And at work, go to early recovery, but it's like I got to find what works. So you want to find a person in recovery here at a meeting that resonates with you. You hear something that we sometimes say program, we want what I used to say. My sponsor, man, I want what he has. Look at him, he's doing so great. He's got 4 years sober. He's doing it right. He's happy, joyous, free, fourth dimension, all the wonderful stuff we talk about in recovery. And somebody had said that last week on a text thread and said, "Oh, we all want what he has." And I wanted to go back to my old self, but I was kind of like, "Well, guess what? I don't want what he has anymore." But
Mm.
he took me through my 12 steps, because today, after what he suggested, and I followed the program like I was suggested to, I want what I got today. And
Mm.
that, for me, being a recovered alcoholic addict, because what I wanted before is not what I want now. And going through these 12 steps and working with another man, because I had trusted, and I told you on the podcast, to be able to sit down with another dude and just laugh and cry and talk about everything, get everything off your chest, and then move past it and continue your journey. Man, it's the best high I've ever had in my life. Do I sometimes be real raw and cuss a little bit and feeling it, and I want to go do something stupid, and I want to, yeah, of course I do, because if I
Yeah.
didn't, right, I'd be lying to myself, right? But if I don't, I'll keep it in here, never come out, and then I go back to maybe going back out in the street, and I don't have another running. I don't want it running. So any meeting that is a blessing. You just gotta listen to everybody, and somebody will say something that you will resonate with, no matter where you're from, what color you are, what race you are, you're purple, green, red, blue, black. It don't make. You'll hear
Yeah.
something at a
Yeah.
meeting that you will grab onto. Hopefully, it will help you recover.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope both of you take this advice. And my advice to you is that every as you're talking, to yourself, or produce more audio of both of you, right? On your phone or something. Make an audio file. Doesn't have to be a journal, it's just something. And the reason why I'm saying that is because so many times society doesn't have time to read a book, don't have time to watch a video, but they'll listen to an audio because they can be attached to their phone, sent to them. They can just listen and get inspired by you. both of you. So, and what it may lead to is being an audio book for both of you. You can title it whatever you want, but I think sometimes stories and things that you're going through is something that just record it every now and then. Put it on your laptop or your phone,
Absolutely.
and then
Yeah.
send it to someone. Just listen to what I was going through, because someone may doubt you, right? Someone may doubt you that went through the same thing that you went through, but they're doubting you because of many reasons. You're right. You have a title, many reasons. You're dressing neat. You're taking care of yourself. You're doing things, um, and they just may not believe what you're saying, right?
Mhm.
Based on how good you look and how sober you look. Put that on audio and then kind of send it to a few friends, even if it's 30 minutes of this podcast or something like that. Because you know what? As they're sitting in the sober house, maybe they might want to listen to somebody like Sean and Stevie just talking about something. And it just so that's all I'm asking is to do something like that, because you may not be in the same room with them and you may not be able to talk to them at a certain time, but you can send them an audio, or they have an audio of you going through something, and it may be
Yeah.
something that would really help them out, so, or her out.
Great suggestion.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like, there's so many people that are stuck in addiction, and there's even people that are stuck that don't have addiction,
Hmm. True.
that are just, you know, suffering,
Hmm.
because they can't see any other way out, you know.
Absolutely.
Um, but by applying this program, I mean, I believe recovery is like the greatest show on earth. It
Yes.
really
Amen.
is, you know. I
Amen.
feel like everybody should do it. It's not even just about getting sober. It's about, practicing the spiritual principles in order to get that spiritual awakening. Um, you know, I know for me, I work it every day and I do a personal inventory every day. I pretty much do it as the day goes on,
Hmm.
you know. Um, and on the days that I struggle, I just kind of sit back and let the storm pass. This too shall pass,
Yes.
you know. And I feel like on those hard days, what I like to call it is spiritual surgery.
Hmm.
It's like I'm being worked on that day. I'm like, oh, here we go,
Hmm.
having a tough time, you know. And then when that storm passes, man, it's, you know, if as long as I don't drink or use, I mean, it's sunshine on the other side.
Amen.
You know, it's beautiful. You know,
Yeah. Yes.
um,
Yesterday, a friend of mine had said for me to wanted me to take up this routine and say all is well,
Hmm.
like
mhm.
emphasis, like through throw like you all is well, and then the next time say all is well, and then all is well. And she told me just repeat that 3 times, 3 times, and a strong emphasis on each word, especially when I'm thinking about something, and or something's bothering me, and because I need to reach out spiritually, um,
Yeah,
myself, and I need to reach out to many things. But that's one thing I started using, and this is the first 24 hours I've been using it. So
Amen. I got
yeah,
one for you.
yeah,
yeah.
Tomorrow was a good day.
Hmm. I
Tomorrow
like
was
that.
another thing that I fail at a lot, but I got a while back when I yoga back home to say a positive about myself. As I wake up, that my affirmation, my prayers, and I want to say that there are many different ways to say me and Sean about what works for us. So there may be people out there that have tried things, like meetings. I get it. I get that too. But there's help out alcoholic, any addict. If meetings are something that this is just what works for me, John,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't want to, there's not other avenue to take either. Yoga, you can go to the gym, do all of those things. So the main thing I say about my recovery journey, like Sean said earlier, don't pick up no matter what. So if you can't feel, you got there's meetings happening. Feel. So I do like to anybody that there's so many ways to stay clean. For meetings, great. Prayer is great. Church is great. The gym is great. Exercise, right? All that wonderful stuff that we all need, not alcohol. So I just want to put that up for people that may not know what involves that program. A great program to follow. There's many different, some are for alcohol, some are for some are for gambling. So your hang up is your hurt is your, the avenue but to get help. Sitting here, man, I'm telling you, I thought Sean that he looked like death. He was pale, he was sunken in, probably 30 pounds less now.
Yeah.
It's killing, and it's not going to get worse before, like the old saying, see it in statistics, get worse as it goes. There is help. There is definitely help out there. Got to find it, on it. You got to be the defender. I for that when I started at the house, like I said, I work. I can pray all the time, but I got to do other. Got to take steps that I don't pick up. There's plenty of opportunity to work from home. My lady works here by myself. I can do whatever I want, but I choose to stay because I remember where I was. And when my guy out or my back out laps, I hate to say this too, sober too. I see I see what that is doing it, boy Sean included. I don't want out of it. So I have to always say that I'm extra bit at recovery. Yes, one day clean is a accomplishment that's struggling with addiction and alcoholism. I will say so. I'm a big. It's 7:20 now. I got till 11 o'clock. I head down to bed. Right, but I got to work. John does the work. I got to do the work. I learn from him. He learns from me. This is how networking don't like me, which I love and I recommend and I suggest. Yes, absolutely go to a 12-step meeting. Friends, people will hug, walk in the door. They'll give you a phone number if you're struggling to call middle of the night, and that's how it works. It becomes a networking thing. So yeah, at first was it a network? Yeah, our sponsor says call 5 guys a day. I don't want to call Charlie. When I was early in recovery, I don't want to call 5 guys, but I did it.
Mm.
And what's the saying, Charlie? It's 21 days to make a habit. Is that the
Yeah,
saying? Is that
I
right?
think that's it. Yeah, yeah.
Well, if I do it every day, right? I got high every day, right? That became my habit. I got drunk every day. That became a habit. I got to think on the opposite spectrum. If I want to live, if I want, if I if I want to call on tomorrow, if I want to be on the podcast next week, I got to keep it in the forefront of my mind. God first, recovery second, everything else comes with a blessing. If I do this thing, I see and go. We're not in the ground. People are going in
That's right.
the ground. People are going in the ground. Kids are going in the ground. Athletes are going in the ground. Everybody's going in the ground that's struggling with addiction. I want everybody to know you're looking at that. Probably shouldn't have by God's grace.
Amen. Um,
Mhm.
Sean, you want to take a few minutes to
Make
kind
home
of
safe.
talk about whatever you wish, and then we're
Absolutely.
gonna go back to Stevie so we can talk about this great event that's going on this Sunday.
Absolutely. Where I'm at today and compared to where I was 7 months ago, like Steve said, I was completely emaciated. I wasn't eating. I wasn't wasn't hydrated. I was completely like a skeleton.
Mm.
I mean, I was pretty much at death's door. Um, I had overdosed on 3 different occasions the past couple of years. Um, First time I ever tried it, I had overdosed. Um, Second time, I overdosed. I was in the back of this person's car. That was pretty much getting me the pills that were laced with fentanyl. And I had a couple of drinks before that and Xanax and all that. But I overdosed in the back of that person's car. They dumped my body out onto the side of the road,
Mm.
and pretty much left me there. They took my wallet, took all my money and stuff. Um, you know, and usually when you overdose, they'll Narcan you and you'll wake up. For me, I didn't wake up until I was in the hospital,
Wow.
and you would think that would have been an eye opener, you know. But I know for me, I pretty much went back to it about 2 weeks after that. So the third time, my last go around was the absolute worst. Um, 7 months ago, I was just desperate.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty much again in debt. I was pretty much going paycheck to paycheck. I was staying at this hotel over here. It's actually pretty close to this house.
Okay.
And I was using fentanyl and meth every single day.
Mm.
And how I did fentanyl, I used to smoke it, pretty much freebase it off of tinfoil.
Yep.
And it was rough, man. I was
Whoops.
Did we lose him?
Yeah, he's appearing right now. There you go, Sean.
all right. So, every day I was from the moment I woke up, I was using to the moment I went to bed, and that's even if I went to bed, because anytime I put any substance in me, I become restless, irritable, discontent.
Mm-hmm.
So, that phenomenon of craving just continues and continues until I'm pretty much dead.
Wow.
Can't ever get enough of it. My tolerance was so high too. But fentanyl is just so dangerous.
It
My
is.
whole day consisted of me waking up, taking a hit, and going right out. I was catching myself almost face planting the floor. This was all day long,
Mm.
pretty much take a hit, wake up somewhere in my hotel room all by myself. And that was me all day long. And I remember one night, uh, I had the night off, and I was doing that all day, and I just came to a point where, I had just so much regret. I was feeling so bad, just like Steve said. He was basically waiting, you know, for me to get a phone call that I had, pretty much crapped out.
Yeah.
I could barely even function at work. I was getting dizzy spells. I was basically feeling like I was going to pass out constantly, because I was using so much and I wasn't eating, wasn't hydrating. And Steve would call and check up on me and say, "You doing all right? You all right today?" You know. Um, And, so back to that one night I was off, and I stopped using. I just put it down, and I drove to my parents' house, and, I opened up to my dad. They knew I was using, but they didn't know how bad it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, Dad, I need help. All day long, I'm, just trapped, and the worst part is, once you start smoking fentanyl regularly or however you use it, it grabs you. And I don't care how strong someone is, that stuff is gonna absolutely defeat you. I know it did for me. And when you don't have it, the withdrawals is pure agony, is absolute hell. Severe anxiety, goosebumps, not being able to sleep, body aches, throwing up, constipation, the whole nine. And it'll really grab you, though, because, you are just in a constant state of euphoria. It's like a warm, fuzzy blanket putting over you. And it literally just numbs everything. Anything that's going on, any trauma you're dealing with, anything that's going on in your life, it doesn't matter anymore. It becomes your master. And I was basically just numb to reality. And once you stop using it, reality sets back in. And I know for me, I've always said this to a lot of guys in recovery, or even people that haven't done opiates. I'm like, man, coming off of that stuff will make you cry to your mama. I don't care how old you are. It's scary stuff, man. But I'm just so grateful to be where I'm at today. I've always made it 90 days clean and then relapsed.
Yep.
And that's because I didn't give it my all. It was always 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and I did that for a while.
Yeah.
I didn't start getting into heavy drug use until I was 20. I'm 27 now. And it took me a while to finally accept that I was an addict and an alcoholic. And this time around, it got so bad, I was just like willing to do anything to get back to normal, and be clean and sober, and actually work a 12-step program that I work every day. I have a great network of guys. Me and Steve, we talk every day. And he's walked me through all the 12 steps, and I continue to work every step every day, and like I said, I practice spiritual principles of AA. And you could work any 12-step program. It doesn't have to be NA. It doesn't have to be AA. It doesn't have to be. It could be anything. NA, CA. But I think it is so important to work a 12-step program. I know it's the only thing that works, and it's been working for so many people for many, many years. And I'm just so glad and grateful to be clean and sober today.
Amen. I like I said earlier, I just want to commend you for doing it, and doing it for yourself, and then also doing it for the people that you're helping. can't forget about that. Even though you're trying to help yourself, but just to help someone else next to you, and
Amen.
just keep that going. And I really, I can't wait until the next time we do this again, and share some more stories, some more good stories. Feel free that if you want someone else to come on,
I got
just send me a message now. There's no reason why you can't send me something. I can't send you something. We're connected now, and if we miss an opportunity, that's going to be on us. So let's stay involved, stay connected, and try to help others.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Stevie, I'm gonna put this on the screen here. Just gonna read it.
Okay.
It says the Mass State Police boxing team presents Saturday night at the fights. It's got the
Sure.
state, yeah, and it's also boxing with Denver Fire, Denver Police, and New York Fire. August 24th, 2024, at 7 p.m. at 110 Middle Street, Fairhaven, Massachusetts. Tickets can be purchased at the mspboxing.com. There's a Q&R code. If
Yes,
you're listening to me, and the tickets are $30. But I'm gonna let Steve go into this and talk about it.
So we Massachusetts Police boxing team. A lot of people know it. A lot of people don't. Been fighting since '76. Started by Benoit, who was for the Boy Scouts back in 1970, 270, and since then up to over 10 shows as a guest, $800,000 programs in Massachusetts. The list to talk about line officers get line. We up. We fight fired. So the Seaport Reserve. I 12. We have rest open at. We will have a 4, and the fights will up clock. So we will big turnout for the Woods Charlie. If you have a tough time on our code, they won't. I don't know how to say it. Just something we long time. Proceeds will have a raffle there. Red Sox memorabilia. Say it wrong. That goes bed down there. Remember, but raffle. We have a raffle right down here. The fighters free. Amateur box. We box. They love to box. Headgear and mouth guard. People try and knock you out, but there will be for anybody. Love to smile. We love fights on. Roof firefighter. Great atmosphere. Fun. I can't fight for a long time. It's made up of local department fight. So we always try and bring. We're supposed to have the so Denver Fire and it's gonna be a great time. But I enjoy the.
All right, Steve. I'll try to I'm gonna share that. You're broken up a little bit, and then I'm gonna continue to share that up until Sunday morning.
I put my over my speaker.
But it's going to be a great event, and I remember when they first came into this area, it was really with Carl Pyers talking about it, and it was really nice. I was really very happy that something like that was going on. You know, the one thing I had growing up was somebody we talked about earlier, Libby Medeiros, Bucky Vincent, you know, and then the PAL Association out of Fall River, Mass, where you can get to see all the different fights along with the Golden Gloves that were just amazing. So this is definitely going to be something that I can't wait. You know, I'll be there. Got a busy day, but I promise you, my friend, you will see me there, and can't wait.
Well, you know Libby, right? So I don't even need to shout him out. Everybody down your way knows who he is in the boxing world, right?
Yes.
Libby helped me get a couple fights. So I have much respect for him. That man, he's an absolute boxing.
Yeah, he's
Libby will be there. Libby's going to be there.
tremendous guy. Tremendous guy.
Libby will be
All
there.
right. All right, Sean.
Having you.
You guys, you know, like I said before, you can do this anytime. We can definitely do an interview again, but it just feel free, you know. Every Wednesday, come join Paula and I on Fentanyl Facts and Stories. We do a Facebook Live, and feel free to just jump on, and if you don't have a meeting or anything, just jump on. Or if you're just leaving a meeting prior to 7:30, you know, tell the people in your meeting, your group, that hey, jump on Facebook and check out the podcast, you know, and you never know.
Never know.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right. Love you guys. Feel free. I'm gonna end this podcast with my favorite song from Lionel Peter Walker, and don't forget, you know, the Really Charlie podcast is your friend. Come see me anytime, man.
Charlie, grateful
Awesome.
so much for having me. Man.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Charlie. Really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure meeting you. I'm fortunate and very fortunate to meet you guys, and let's keep in touch.
Yes, sir, brother.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you.
All right. God bless. Thank you.
God bless, brother.
All right. That was Stevie D and Sean Knox. Listen, it doesn't get any better than that. You need some inspiration. You're struggling. You need something, you know, feel free to contact me. I'll contact them, and we'll get you on the right path. All right. Good night. God bless, and all is well. I will end this podcast with my favorite song and say bye-bye to my friends. All right, Stevie, Sean, take care.
See you, Charlie.
All right.
All right.
Take care, Charlie.
You too.
It's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bump into your broadcast, grab a chair, fill your glass. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bump into your broadcast, grab a chair, fill your glass.